Hello and welcome to the show. This is Hans Kim, and this show is called Hans Kim Live, episode 143. Today we are not going to talk about Gaza and the Jews. I already went off on the Jews. I went DEFCON 5 on the Jews last episode. So the Jews are all right by me. They're doing great. They're just doing what they want to do, which is murder and genocide. And that's fine. That's part of their thing. I don't know how to get the noises on this soundboard onto the computer, but yeah, lots is happening. Yesterday, I did the Comedy Mothership, a little showcase at the Little Boy. It was fine. It was good. Worked on some new stuff. Didn't really land. Worked on some stuff about DEI and diversity and how everyone's complaining about DEI. Seems like black people are still poor. Doesn't seem like it's helping them out that much. So I don't know what you guys were so worried about. They're still doing bad. Doesn't help them out at all. Um, and how white people are worse at being unemployed than black people. White people unemployed is sad and, really, really depressing. Black people unemployed is like fun and they got a lot going on for them. They're always at a barbecue. But also, like DEI, you really want to get rid of DEI, then Harvard is going to just turn into Chinatown. It's going to be called Hong Kongverd, or I don't know. It's all going to be Asian. I hope you're okay with that. I wish I could bong up. I got a little cold. My lungs feel like popcorn. It feels like an episode of Rick and Morty in there, Jurassic whatever, where they're inside the body and the the lymph nodes are inflamed. That's what my lungs feel like. It used to just be on the surface. Now I think it's working its way deeper into my lungs. So that's concerning. But yeah, hopefully I get over this soon and I can bong up because that's one of the joys of life is bonging up, just disregarding your lungs and making your brain different. It's part of life. Lots is happening. You're the man. Get better, brother. I will smoke for you. Thank you. I don't know how good smoking is for the human body. I have turned my lungs into a motherfucking drug receptacle. I'm not on antibiotics. I heard that fucks up your stomach biome. Yeah, I've been drinking a lot. I've been sucking on lozenges a lot, just trying to make all that phlegm disappear from whatever that chemical is in motherfucking cough drop. It just fucking deteriorates all that shit for you. Makes it weak like a slug, like pouring salt on a slug. And then I've been licking my salt rock. I got a salt lamp. I've just been licking it, loving licking it, loving and licking it. So licking a salt rock, I feel like that helps because salt is helps. Salt is good for whatever. Yeah, I mean, lungs are mainly for oxygen, and if you breathe too much smoke, I don't think that's good for your lungs. But edibles suck, so that's where I'm at. Who knows what the future of lung cancer prevention will be? So why worry about it when Elon Musk is on it? Oh, yeah. I was going to say Israel is like the Elon Musk of people that commit genocide. They're just nerds that got too much power and don't know what to do with it. And they are bitter and they have a chip on their shoulder and they're trying to murder all the fucking minorities that they can get their hands on. It's like, why don't you fucking genocide someone that genocided you? Why do you have to pick on the poor Palestinians? What did they ever do to you? You guys were getting along great during the Ottoman Empire, you motherfuckers. Go kill some Germans. Everyone would understand that if the Jews were to go after the Germans, but now you're just picking on some people that don't have anything to do with your struggle. They just are in the way. They happen to live in the place that you think is yours. Where are they from? Why couldn't we have given them Serbia or something? Why don't we make Cuba or somewhere? Ukraine. That's a good middle ground. Everyone's happy then. All the land that Russia took over, you don't get it back, Ukraine. I'm sorry, but we got to keep the mother Russia happy. That goes to Israel. Israel is now in Ukraine, and the Palestinians get their home back because they suffered a lot for it and they deserve it. Just because they're Muslim doesn't mean they're not human, even though it is easy to dehumanize them. I love dehumanizing Palestinians. It's so fun because humans you can't genocide or like do pranks on, but if they're not human, then you can shove a garbage bag over their head and then turn into a pipe. Get a little pipe and get attach yourself onto a wall. Yeah, edibles just take too long and it's not cool. You don't sit around in a circle popping edibles with your boys and it just tastes disgusting. I don't like eating unless it's actual food. I don't like just putting things in my mouth, but it is better for you. Your mouth is meant to handle weird shit. Your lungs aren't meant to be handling smoke. It's just meant to be lungs, just for breathing. There's no secondary purpose to lungs, except now you can shove drugs in there. What other bodily function can we shove drugs into? You can shove drugs into your butt, but it's hard to get anything out of it. Asian Live with 14 viewers is where it's at. That's actually pretty good for me, 14 viewers. But sometimes I wish I wasn't white, says B. Well, it's better to be white than to be a lot of other races. So count your blessing. It is a nice thing to be white. White it up. Go do something white today. High five someone that doesn't want to high five you. What else is what else is a white thing to do? You can say, my man, my bro. Just talk to people, put it in your ear, put drugs in your ear, just listen to drugs and you get high. Imagine if you could get high just by listening to something. I guess that's what music audio files do, but that takes a lot of practice and work. My least favorite race is probably white people because they destroyed Africa and South America and they don't want to admit it, and the Middle East, and they don't have any responsibility, or they don't take any responsibility for anything. They're like, well, we were trying to do science and we just Africa was in the way. No, that was apart from science. What science came out of destroying Africa? But yeah, I think white people are just, I mean, it's okay if you're like a Genghis Khan and you own it, but white people are like Genghis Khan and then they're also nerds about it. They're like, no, we didn't mean to do that. We were, look at the fucking penicillin. It's like, motherfucker, like, just, you are conquerors. Admit it. Like, take some ownership. That's why I respect like these fucking Nazis more than the liberals. The liberals will just be like, okay with it and they'll just keep it going forever. But at least the Nazis, they'll burn out like a hot flame real quick. They'll be like, yeah, we fucking did it. We need to do it more. And then they just World War II themselves out. They just tucker themselves out. They get tired. They have to be put to bed and start making automobiles for the rest of the civilized world. Don't put any of your energy into that shit. But yeah, I just don't like how they conquered everything and they won't even admit it. Just admit it. You did great. A lot of people were trying to do what you did, and you actually fucking did it. And it's like they did it through numbers and calculations and stocks and trading futures or whatever. So I just think white people are the most annoying because they've done the most damage to people in history and in recent times, and they don't want to take responsibility for it. As a British man, I'm very proud that we made Africa civilized. It really worked. We didn't know giving people diseases would kill them. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, a lot of it was diseases, but at some point they knew what they were doing, giving smallpox blankets to the natives and shit. Chopping off limbs to get more rubber protection. Yeah, I mean, I think Asians are like rats. There's just too many of them. They don't feel valuable. Asians, I feel like, are oblivious sometimes. Like they aren't real individual human beings. They're like a part of a collective, so any individual one doesn't really matter, and they don't act like they matter. So that's kind of annoying if you want to like connect with someone and like, oh, an individual, let me gain and suck away as much out of this person as possible, like white people like to do. These fucking selfish white people, they can only think about themselves and trying to get as much out of every person and situation as they can. And Asians are just like trying to survive and not die and like, oh, okay, oh, very nice. Oh, really? Oh, okay, okay. And they go home and then they just fucking spew bile. These motherfucking black people trying to steal from me. I'm gonna shoot the next one. And that's how you get the Rodney King riots. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm being too mean to different races. Who we gonna sell vaccines to if we don't spread diseases? Yeah, I mean, I think America is reaching the end of its usefulness. Like, thanks for the TV and the flat screen and internet, but it's time to do solar and be sustainable. Like, as a civilization, there's only like two things you have to do is sustain yourself and do a little technology at a constant rate. Um, yeah, Asians are hard to delve into. You can't get much out of them. They're not trying to like impress you or trying to be the most of themselves. They're just part of a group that it's like trying to have a conversation with a worker bee or an ant. It's like, what the fuck is this ant gonna tell me? He's just trying to fucking move that leaf over there. That's an Asian. We're always moving leaves or something. We just have a purpose and we just want to do the purpose. We don't want to talk. We don't want to be humans. And that's why we don't invent as many things. And that's why we have to steal from white people. But there are creative Asians. There are variations. Lots of different types of Asians. Yeah, I mean, America seems like we just want to have a way that we are. We like thinking of ourselves as these cowboy conquerors, businessmen, don't take no for an answer. But it's like, do we have to be that all the time? Is that the most useful thing to be? Is like a Donald Trump, like fake salesman and scammer and great business money man? Like, what, how long does that last? Why can't we be like Scandinavians making pop hits for everyone's? And making Volvos and just being nice and eating weird food. Like I think this conquer mindset is from the 1800s, and we just love the idea of that so much we just want to keep doing it. And it's not the time for that. We have nukes. We can't really be going around taking land from people anymore. But yeah, we gained our prominence in this era in our adolescence, and we just want to keep living our adolescence. We want to be forever 21, and it's time to be in our 30s. And America is just refusing to be 30 years old. We don't want to get a house and settle down. We want to go out and fuck bitches and shoot people. get into fights, and it's unsustainable and gross and weird that we want to do that. Like as a person, like being Donald Trump isn't a great way to be. Like no one wants to be that person. We need a little bit of discipline and whatever. What you think about Iran? I think Iran is doing the best they can. America's been attacking them, installing I forget who it was. The Shah. I think the America installed the Shah over Iran, and then they revolted, and the Ayatollah Khomeini came in to be the leader. And they've just been under attack from America. And apparently, the best way to fight America is Islam. If you want to resist America for a little bit, like keep them at bay, Islam is the way to go. You don't want to do Christianity because that's too close. They'll just come in and invade with their little Christian missionaries and get into your head like they did Africa, I guess. Yeah, Islam is a way to resist America. But yeah, I mean, Iran is like a religious theocracy. They have to like keep everyone bottled up to fight America. Everyone has to worship Muhammad so that America doesn't turn everything into a McDonald's. Something about Muhammad. He really hates corporatism. I'm from there, but we hate the government. He's from Iran. Um, but yeah, I think being America's little bitch boy is not always great. Look at Ukraine. Um, who said it? Henry Kissinger or someone was like, being America's enemy is bad, but being America's ally is deadly. So yeah, I had a friend who was from Iran. He said he was Persian, but a lot of the people that are in America are like they want to be America's lapdog. So, you know, there's pros and cons to that. South Korea is doing pretty well, but we are also a capitalist hellhole, and it's like a motherfucking everything's a goddamn capitalist thing, and everyone's studying and working 70 hours a week, and it's a miserable life. But yeah, something fun is the regular show had a good turnout. I didn't really like the audience. I felt like they didn't want to hear jokes. They just wanted to have a friend. And it's like, why don't you go find a fucking friend then? This is a comedy show. Jokes are being told here. Get used to it. Some crowds don't want jokes. They just want you to get up there and just be a guy. And that's not stand-up comedy. Let's see. The Jews covered the Jews. South Korea birth rate is horrible. It's plummeting over there. Yeah, South Korea birth rate is horrible. It is plummeting over there. No one wants to have babies because our lives are fucking miserable. And why would you put a baby into your miserable life? Actually, that's a good move. You don't want to fucking abuse your child. Just fucking have a child that where you work 70 hours. You come home, they're crying. You just fucking want to shake the shit out of the baby. So that, yeah, we're doing the right thing. We're not having babies. Better than having a baby and then shaking it around. Don't shake babies. That's a big thing. Korean chicks are beautiful, but they have no tits or ass. They're very skinny though, and that's great. It's like everyone is hot if you're skinny. It's like a diet thing or something, genetics too. Yeah, I'm a great dog owner because I don't have a dog because I wouldn't take care of it. Some of these people, they have a dog they can't take care of. It's so sad. And they're overworked and they're still not even taking care of their dog well. So it's like, what's the point of that? Baby shaking? I mean, sometimes they like it, if they're giggling. You just got to make sure you don't snap their neck off just because, they're like a fucking twig with an apple on top. Their neck isn't designed for that yet. So you just got to fucking put them in a neck brace and shake them around. But yeah, I think babies are just a lot of work and, you know, they're like dogs. They can pick up on your energy. And if you're just constantly overworked, if you're South Korean and you're overworked and miserable, they can pick up on that. So people are like, "Oh, I don't like the way this baby's looking at me. Let me not have a kid." But yeah, a lot of people are burning Teslas, which I didn't know they were so easy to burn. I thought it'd be harder to burn a Tesla. I feel like a gas car. I feel like a gas car would be easy to burn. It's combustible fluids, it's fuel in there. But people are burning Teslas. That seems hard to do. But apparently it's easy. Some guy just used a Molotov cocktail to do it, which seems pretty easy to make. Put some gasoline in there. I don't know how to make Molotov cocktails. Is Texas about to get rid of waifus? What is that, like fans of Asian shit? Or is that like a credit card? Don't know what a waifu is. Waifu. Um, yeah, I just feel like, you know, I feel like the people have a voice and you got to listen to the people. I love it when the people speak up and make their voice heard, and they have like something they want to say. Now they have something they want to say. They hate Elon Musk. That's the thing they want to say, and they have a way of expressing it. I just love seeing people express themselves. Yeah, apparently you can't use water on a Cybertruck or a lithium ion battery because it makes it worse. What you have to do is pour like chemical, like class 4 fire extinguisher. Some people say that you have to submerge it in water, which I don't know why pouring water on it is bad, but submerging it in water is good. But you know, that's science for you. I'm not gonna know why unless someone tells me or I look it up. Um, yeah, what else is going on? Uh, yeah, I mean, South Korea is great. I wish Iran could be like South Korea, but there's a lot of allies of America that aren't doing so well, like Guatemala and a lot of South American countries that bent over backwards for America. We can't all be America's number one lapdog. There's a hierarchy. And Iran, like, even if you do become America's lapdog, it's not going to be. What if they give you the Russia treatment, where they were enemies with Russia and then they fuck, and then they rolled over for them, and then they just, America just treated them like shit, and now they have to invade Ukraine just to get some respect in the world. Like that could happen to Iran. You never know how America's going to treat you. America doesn't even know. America just sort of plays it by ear. It's like a girl. It's like a hot girl. Like they don't give a fuck. They can do whatever they want. So yeah, it's a risk. Just laying over, rolling over, showing your belly to America. You could either be South Korea or you could be Guatemala. It's really hard to tell what America's going to do for you. Or you could be Ukraine. If you had to get to work and it's your car people, would you go on Story Wars? Is that Jay Okerson's podcast? Yeah, of course. I'd love to be more famous. I'd love to be prominently displayed on posters and shit. But yeah, I'm not a really good storyteller. It would suck if you had to get to work and it's your car people are burning because they don't like the CEO of the company. Oh, okay. Yeah, it sucks to have your car burned down, especially an expensive one like a Tesla. That's why I like it when they burn the dealerships down, but obviously, it's not it's just I don't know if I hate it. I don't know if it's the worst thing that I've seen. It's like he's rich, the company's rich. Um, just yeah, I mean, if you buy a Tesla, you're probably rich too. But yeah, I don't know. It's like Tesla, Elon Musk is doing a lot of annoying shit. So it's like, is it really that surprising that he has like a lot of vulnerabilities out there. He has a lot of things that you can attack, and it's like if you fuck with us, and he might not even be doing it on purpose. He's like, I'm just trying to make the government more efficient. I don't know why people are mad. But then the result of that is like park rangers getting fired, people that have medical trials through US aid don't get to finish their trial and they still have like implants in their body they can't get out. People are getting fired and all that. Um, yeah, lots of people are burning fires and shit. Medicare and Social Security. Apparently he wants to like put his fingers on that and like, oh, there's a lot of inefficiency there, and people are worried because they rely on that shit. So yeah, I mean, if he like does bad shit, it doesn't matter what his intentions are. If you kill someone trying to rescue them, you still killed them. Chinese BYD EVs are really good, and now you can get 260-mile charge in 5 minutes. Wow. The Chinese. I don't know if you were allowed to buy that shit. So much for a free market, huh? We can't even buy BYDs in America. Yeah, I mean, some comedian had a joke. He's like, we gotta listen to the market. The market is telling us what to do. Oh, the market seems to be stringing me up by my shoes on upside down at a lamppost. The market seems to be slitting my throat and chanting death to billionaires. So, yeah, I mean, it's the market. We gotta listen to the market. It's like, if all we're doing is just listening to the market, like, what's the point of anyone? Why don't we just let the market decide what everything is? Why do we need CEOs and all that? The market is going to tell us what to do, so we don't need you. We can just all just buy things and let that determine what is happening. Apparently, Sam Cedar, uh, the Seedmeister General, he really loves Social Security. He says it's the best government program that's ever existed. Two-thirds of elderly people are on Social Security and being prevented from falling into poverty because of Social Security. So, yeah, I think Social Security is great. Some people are like, why do you have to have Social Security? Why don't you just tell everyone to save? And that's ridiculous. You can't just tell everyone, hey, make more money. Why don't you have more money? You fucked up. You don't have money. It's like, do you really? Why? What is the point of human civilization if we can't take care of old people? We just have to let the market tell us, oh, your grandpa, the market says he's gonna die. He didn't make enough. I wish there was something we could do, but the market is telling us that your grandpa is not useful and wasn't useful enough in the past. Um, so it's like if we have a human civilization, shouldn't it be to do the things that we want it to do instead of having it rule over us? Why don't we make the market and the human economy do what we want? Like keep our old people alive, make sure kids aren't starving, like things that human beings hate. Why don't we prevent that? Like no more people dying, wives and husbands. Maybe they should be kept alive instead of just letting the market just be like, no, your kids are not useful right now and you're not a good parent. Like, it's true, like, the market is useful in determining how much a fucking a sandwich should cost, and you shouldn't have the government in there telling everyone, oh, it's artificially low because then it's all going to run out. Someone's going to buy all the fucking sandwiches. But yeah, I don't know. Like maybe there when the market is fucking up and a lot of people are starving, then we can step in and be like, it's not useful anymore. We're not doing the market anymore. We're doing saving lives shit. And if we are the market, if what we buy determines what the market is doing, why don't we just speak to it directly and make the market do what we want it to do? Maybe have the market do certain things, but not do, firefighting or low income housing or utilities, because then you get Enron, people betting, people having rolling blackouts, rolling brownouts so that they can make more money on it. Who is Twitter's biggest disinformation spreader? Number one is Elon. Number two is Trump. Wow, Grok says that. AI. I mean, you can't really argue with that. He's like posting wrong shit all the time. He'll be like, interesting. And it'll be like, the Nazis were actually helping people out a lot. Um, yeah, I think old people, even if they aren't economically useful, they have like a use to human beings. Like we love old people. We can learn a lot from old people. They have a lot of great stories. They have a lot of great experience that could help us. And a society that doesn't have old people doesn't have that knowledge and wisdom. It's just a bunch of fucking teenage influencers being like, woohoo, let's fill the Atlantic Ocean with vodka. Tariffs are used to turn market sentiment to demand rate cuts. Once Fed starts to cut rates, we will have another rally and ATH. So I keep buying the dip as always. Yeah, I mean, if it's dipping, could either be a great time to buy or the second worst time to buy because it might dip even more and bottom out. But at least it's not the worst time to buy. It could be the second worst time to buy. If Trump is actually serious about the tariffs, it would destroy our economy. Wait, no, it's the worst time to buy it when it's super high and then sell it super low. So, whatever. Yeah, he's deporting a lot of people. He's putting tariffs so that no new stuff comes in. Soon the country's going to be empty. There's going to be nothing in here. No people, no money. But yeah, I'm coughing a lot. I think talking, moving air through my lungs is really stimulating them. Um, apparently, the Jews have a thing called the Hannibal Doctrine, where if they see an Israeli getting kidnapped by the Palestinians, they just shoot him and kill him, just so they don't have to rescue him later. They'd rather have you be dead than be kidnapped and humiliated on TV. But I don't know. I, whatever. He's isn't serious. It's a bluff. I read his book, and that's what he talks about in there. It's called Art of a Deal by Trump. I think it's called Art of the Deal. There's one deal, and he knows about the art of it. If it was just about a deal, that'd be crazy. Trump, 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 Trump. What a guy. Everyone's talking about him. Um, I think Trump is just mascot for where we are in the world. We're this ridiculous, inflated, overinflated balloon ego that's just like, I'm making deals. look at me, I'm doing so good. Look at I'm doing that and doing this. I'm doing so much shit. It's like, hey, why don't you stop making deals? Like life isn't just all about making deals. Let's just calm down and try to build a windmill and create something sustainable and nice instead of just always going crazy. But yeah, I mean, he's going crazy. He's just doing a bunch of shit. It's like we need someone who's more like he wouldn't be a good grandfather because he's like too amped up. He's like, "What is this? Your grandchild? What does he do? What are you gonna do for me, kid?" You want a grandfather that's calm and you know these are our elderly people that we have, just juiced to the gills, fucking crazy ass amped up old people instead of like calm, wise old people. We got these fucking 80s Wall Street aged old 80s Wall Street motherfuckers that are just like, you're not doing the best. You gotta fucking get more out of Guatemala. They're fucking you over. Everyone's fucking you over. We could get so much more. And they don't know how to create a sustainable, beautiful kindergarten. If Trump was in charge of a kindergarten, that'd be horrible. He would destroy that kindergarten. Oh, if it doesn't work like that, then how much money do you have? You must be very successful. Liberals spot it. It's okay. You will lose from the hate inside of you. I mean, I think right now we should be like Star Trek or like the Navi from Naboo or something. We should just try not to kill ourselves. That's the most important thing. No, there's no threat to us. Our biggest threat is ourselves. And if we're just all focused on business, 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 trying to make the most money, we might kill ourselves doing business. We might business our way out of existence. So the main thing is to not kill ourselves, to motherfucking Uh, prevent pandemics, prevent nuclear war, stop pollution. That should be our main goal. And then reduce suffering. And then if you want to make a little technology on top of that, that's great, but it's not necessary. We could live like 1400s hermits, 1400 hermits for the rest of our lives and it'll be fine. Why do we have to create the digital revolution? What is the rush on that? As long as everyone's living healthy and happy, like medicine and all that, that should be our goal. And there's no real need to create the latest technology. We can be fine without it. And all we are focused on is trying to take as much money and outdo the other person. It's just not the right mentality for a nuclear powered civilization. We can't just be trying to fight each other all the time when we have nukes. That's a scary thing to do. So I think we should all just calm down and just try not to fucking destroy the planet. Like that should be the number one thing you check in other people. Like, would you destroy the planet if you had the chance? And then if you would, then you're a psychopath. And we create a lot of those fucking psychopaths that would destroy the planet if they could get a nice house or like if they could fuck over their enemies. It's just like this is the kind of people we produce. We produce people that will destroy our planet, and that is the worst kind of person to produce right now. But that is the kind of person we needed in the 1800s. We all motherfucking are trying to be Amish for this era that doesn't exist anymore because we love Wolf of Wall Street and all this bullshit. It's like we don't need that kind of energy. We just have to not kill ourselves. For God's sake, can we learn how to sustain something? Go plant a tree. Learn how to plant trees. We should have a that should be the biggest job in the world is tree planting. Okay, well now this guy gave me money and it makes me look like a fucking asshole now. I will be in the UK for Kill Tony. But yeah, I just wish that we could, I wish we could check ourselves and be like, "Hey, are you gonna motherfucking destroy the planet or are you gonna fucking be chill?" We just need a bunch of chill people that aren't gonna nuke ourselves instead of like people that just want a house in the Hamptons and will fucking kill a polar bear to get a yacht. We don't need that. Yes, I'm rich. I am personally rich. I have been touring every fucking weekend for 3 months, it feels like. And, I get a lot of money out of that. And, I have a healthy amount of savings, and half of it is in stocks right now, which is really depressing. But I think I'm still up. I think I'm still in the green with my stock investment. I have some guy that does it for me. Um, I don't know if he wants me to shout him out or not, but, yeah, he's doing it all for me, and I'm not worried about it. I don't wanna go into money because that's just another job. Once you get into stocks and shit, it's like, I don't wanna do that. I want someone else to do that. This is, from a guy that he just sent it to me. One Harbor, Surfers and Lovers. I wore it yesterday. I was gonna see if I could do a green screen. I forgot to check. Yeah, I can do a green screen. Oh, no, it shows up on my shirt. Yeah, I keep wearing green shirts. Yeah, I know. I have the energy of someone that just woke up. I'm permanently just woke up face and eyes. If you really want to know how rich I am, I'll tell you, but you can't take it the wrong way. I'm not gonna like fucking brag about it or like act like it's some big deal. Doesn't really mean much. But yeah, I think transparency is important. I think you should be talking about how much you make with your employees, the coworkers, and that way you make sure you don't get fucked and there's no discrimination. You're just like the wisdom of the crowd. It's like, hey, you're paying this guy that much and he doesn't do that much, whereas you pay this lesbian Guatemalan, uh, transgender weirdo like half of that. Then it's like, yeah, you should pay them more. Which stocks are your biggest bags and now? And what's your play for the next 6 to 12 months? I got some guy doing that for me. I don't want to think about stocks. I don't want to engage in that. I don't think it's a useful hobby. And then if I do become obsessed with it, it's going to take over everything. I'd rather just chill and have a good time. Um, but yeah, yeah. I feel like I don't want to, I don't want to like talk about money too much. But I think people don't talk about it enough, like religion. They're afraid to talk about it, and no one has any idea what's happening. And I think that's to the benefit of the billionaires. So I do want to talk about it more and as an experiment, see how people do their shit. Um, Hans, I'm wasting away at my mechanical engineering job modeling BS. How do I quit and figure out my life? Well, I would say, keep doing that, get a nice savings, and then once your brain is about to break, and once you have to spend more money than you're making just to keep yourself sane, I would say quit. But for now, I would say stack up that cash as much as possible because you could be working at Whataburger or some bullshit. So while you have that job, while you have a nice cushy job you can sit down at, I would say make as much money as possible. And then once your brain starts to fucking go haywire, quit, and then start finger painting. Buy a van. Opt out of the system, man. I would just say, find a cheap place to live and get food stamps and just coast until you can get some traction somewhere. Do something you love. People have survived the Russian tundra. You can survive in an American city with plenty of food everywhere. You can you can go out and do stuff. But yeah, if you're depressed and you waste all your life making money, that it's almost instinctive and habitual to start spending it to make yourself happy. So once that shit gets too much, then you gotta stop working so that you can't buy more shit. But once you're addicted, might suck to quit your job. Yeah, go motherfucking go get a hostel or like get a community living situation. Find some solidarity with your fellow workers and create a space where you can live for cheap and pursue an art form or something more sustainable for you and live out your life in happiness. Yeah, I have no idea what you should do. I would say maybe engage in a little bit of terrorism. Maybe, it's not going to make you much money in the beginning, but terrorism is like anything else. Once you get better at it, people start paying you more and just start destroying things that you disagree with, destroy things that are hurting others, and then slowly work your way up. Do a little Luigi. This is a corrupt system. There's a lot of shit that needs to be destroyed, like Sackler family, pharmaceutical industry, oil and gas industry. These are just some off the top, you know. Maybe the guy that bought out hedge fund managers. That's a great place to start some terrorism. People that just buy shit that already exists and streamlines it and makes it shittier so that they make more profit. You could start there and then work your way up. I want to live in Vietnam off the grid. That's a great way to do it, but Vietnam isn't off the grid. It's just off the American grid. It's in the Vietnamese grid. You'll just be a fucking white dude in Vietnam. And if that's what you want, I would say try it out and always be ready to Vietnam out of Vietnam. There's always another Vietnam. The grass is always more Vietnam somewhere else. After Vietnam, where do you go? You gotta go to motherfucking Thailand. After Thailand, if you get sick of that, I mean, you're running out of places at that point. Everywhere else will be more expensive. You could go to fucking Mozambique and live like a king. You could go to Haiti and just fucking ball out with all the coconuts you could want. Spam and coconut for the rest of your life. Yeah, you can't go up. You can't retire from America and go to Switzerland and lose all your saving in a month. I think that we should I think we should just take care of people. Make sure they're not starving or dying. I think motivating people with survival, with home and food and shelter is barbaric and primitive. And I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it produces the best art or work or inventions. I think it's just the way we've been doing it, so we don't know any better. And we think everyone's an animal and we got to treat everyone like an animal. But who does that benefit? The billionaires who don't have to pony up and pay for the people that they're using and abusing. When a billionaire hires a person, they didn't do anything to raise that person. That cost is borne by society. And, it's expensive to raise a person, and they just get to pay them minimum wage, and they didn't have to pay for any of the shit that they needed to get to where they could work for you. But yeah, I think uh, Yeah, billionaires should we should take care of people and like make sure that they're not starving or hungry or cold or anything. And then once people are surviving and healthy and they had good nutrition throughout their childhood, then we can properly put them to work and get more out of them than we did before. It's like an investment. And I think a great way to prevent homelessness is to make sure people don't become homeless in the first place, pay people a living wage. Medical bankruptcy is the number one cause of bankruptcy. Make sure that healthcare is free for people so they can take care of their body. It's not their, and it might be their fault that their body is falling apart, but you got to take care of them because it's better for society overall. It's like more better of an investment to spend $1 on healthcare than to spend $20 trying to deal with them shitting all over the subway. You got to prevent people from becoming homeless, give them food stamps, give them affordable housing. Like, we don't have good affordable housing in America. What is the best Korean dish? I would say bulgogi. Kalbi is good. So sweet. I feel like Korean meat is the best. But yeah, if you want to prevent homelessness, I would say just take care of people, pay them a living wage, make sure that they have rights at work, they don't get fired for some bullshit reason. Make sure people have affordable housing, food, make sure people have reliable public transit instead of having to buy a car, waste all their money. Um, yeah, and just generally take care of people. Do everything that America is not doing right now that every other country is doing, and then you won't get homeless people. But if people are left to fend for themselves and they have to pay a lot of money for rent because we don't have any affordable housing and there we have predatory landlords and food is expensive and inflation causes eggs to go up in price and they have to pay for their medical bills and it takes forever to get to work and their car breaks down all the time, then you're going to have more homeless people. And it's harder to get someone out of homelessness than it is to keep people from being homeless in the first place. But yet, Americans don't want to do anything that keeps people from being homeless. They think that's weak and you're coddling them. Well, which one do you want? Would you rather have people be slightly coddled or would you rather have homeless people? And it's like, yeah, there's going to be people that take advantage of the system, but it's way better than a billionaire taking advantage of the system way more efficiently, effectively. And people are just worried about lazy ass motherfuckers taking advantage and they're like, well, if this rich guy wants to take advantage, he has a suit on. I don't really mind that. But a homeless guy taking advantage of my tax dollars, that's fucking infuriating. This fucking loser isn't gonna trick me. But yeah, it just looks better to get tricked by a billionaire, but they can take more. A billionaire is like a billion welfare queens. Like you think a welfare queen is taking out a billion, what is that, a dollar, I guess. I guess they're taking out more than a dollar, but a welfare queen at most, I would say, is $200,000 a year being a welfare queen. If you're the best top 1% welfare queen, $200,000 is how much a billionaire steals from the system, like an hour, like a day. And they're using and abusing our people. They don't pay for their fair share. We are paying for human beings to be educated and housed and policed. And billionaires just take advantage of that. They're like, thank you for paying for this person that you raised from baby to being a worker. Now that I will fucking do whatever I want with them. What do you think about Canada? I think Canada is like a little better than America on that. I think they take care of their people a little bit more. They are not as racist. America was built on the plantation model. There is one slave owner and everyone else is a slave. And now even white people can be slaves through wage slavery. But yeah, I think Americans don't care about each other as much as Canadians do. Canadians seem like one cohesive group. Americans, there's like, white people are like, I'm not paying for black people to get around cheaply. Like, we don't care about each other. We're not the same thing. We are enemies to each other, so we don't want to help each other. Why would I help this guy? He's not a part of our tribe. How much money do you make? Uh, I don't know. I make enough. I get paid like last weekend I got paid like $15,000. So times 52 if I work every weekend and I make other stuff here and there. And then taxes and shit. Last year, last year I made like 250K. I thought it'd be more, but apparently not. Highest taxes on employment income, not on business or investment income. So the working class pay for the programs. The successful and wealthy are detached from it, at least a little. Yeah, so it's a regressive tax, which means that poor people pay more than rich people, whereas you should have a progressive tax. Although people really get away with the welfare scamming during COVID in California, all you had to do was say you owned a daycare and some shit, and they would send you 50K. I made a lot of money. I made a lot of money during COVID when I was broke and poor, getting like something like $1,500 every week or something from Washington State. I heard there are like 6 million slaves in Africa. That's crazy. Yeah, African people are very valuable. But yeah, I think if you want to prevent homelessness, we got to take care of people and shit. And I think it's good to do that. I think it's good to take care of people. I think it helps us overall. I think it's good. But yeah, I'm rich. I have enough money. I could probably stop working for like 10 years and still be fine if I fucking downgrade my lifestyle for sure. But yeah, I don't plan on doing that. I plan on making more money and not doing much with it, but it's good to have. I DoorDash all the time now. I just buy things on Amazon. I bought a harmonica. It's like 25 bucks. I'll look for things that are more expensive because that's a good way to tell if things are good or not. I learned that from Joe Rogan. Brian Redband was telling a story like on a podcast somewhere, and he was like, I went with Joe Rogan to a store, and he was like, "Which camera should I get? This one has a filter, but this one has an MP of 5." He's like, "Just got the most expensive one. That's the best one. That's why it's expensive." It's like, yeah, every now and then you're gonna get fucked, but as a general rule, the more expensive something is, it's probably gonna be better. So now like price isn't prohibitive. It is like an indicator of how good what the quality of something is. So sometimes I'll just get the most expensive shit of whatever I'm looking for, which is nice, but yeah, I have a drone right now. I was planning on doing it soon. I might do it at my apartment, but yeah, I uh I don't remember when it happened, but there was a moment where I wasn't concerned about the prices on the menu. Remember when I was opening up for Joe Rogan, I was like, I'm not there yet. I want to be there, but I don't know if I'm there yet. And then sometime later, it just fucking happened. This is one time I went out with Joe and a bunch of people, and they were joking around. They're like, "Yeah, Hans is gonna pick up the bill tonight." And I was like, holy shit. I just thought about that. Like, if I picked up the bill tonight, I would have $0 left. There's like 7 people there at a very fancy restaurant. But yeah, I wish I was, white people always act like they're rich. And I admire that. They don't worry about the price tag. That's why they're always in credit card debt. They're like, I want this kind of life and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get it. I don't care how much it costs. So kudos to them. Even if they do get rich, it doesn't really matter. They live the same way that they always lived. Just the math is gonna work out. And there's a long history of comedians not giving a fuck about money. Like Joe Rogan, he's like, "Oh, I'm rich now? Okay. I don't have to think about it." Louis C.K., he said he bought a trumpet and a motorcycle, and then he got into a motorcycle crash. Yeah. Um. Anyways, what did Rogan tell you about aliens? That they might exist. They're probably here. Elon Musk. But yeah, that was a bottom of the barrel. So I don't know if I should have revealed that. I'm into drones. I have a drone in my bag in my car right now. I was gonna do it later. All right. Well, I think it's done. I did an hour, so I'm gonna stop it. I've been coughing this whole time. Thank you for listening to me cough. Cough a day. Thank you guys so much and have a great night. Peace.